Serena Williams quote tweeted me once, which I put up in my banner as a little social proof.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sideline Stories. Today, I'm here with Andrew Petcash, founder of Profluence, a brand that creates content on athletes and their businesses. How are you doing today, Andrew?
What's up, Brendan? Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. I appreciate you taking the time. If you could have one athlete of your choosing follow you, who would it be?
Definitely Kevin Durant, just because I think his business partner Rich. He follows me, so, and they're aware that they have their company boardroom and 35 Ventures. But I think KD, just I really respect what him and Rich have done, and it's not just those two. There's a lot of people on the peripheral building with them, but it's really just like the cold model of how to be an athlete and then also be like a real main business figure and take a lot of money and then turn it into like a lot of money. So I think it'd be super cool to have KD just because he has like a light side to him too.
What's a sports business story right now that you're excited or passionate about that's not getting enough attention?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think not enough people are really paying attention to kind of the rise of pickleball. And I think there's just not only a lot of opportunity in it if you want to go build, but just like there's going to be cool like offshoots of it. Like, yeah, there's going to be like a professional league just like anything else. But I think like there could be cool little things. Like I even saw a picture today on Twitter of Kevin Durant playing with just some random kid in Brooklyn or whatever. And it was like we could have like some celebrity type leagues or something. Like I think there could be a lot of cool stuff and opportunities and like more so the entertainment version of pickleball and not like I mean, there'll still be people that are interested in like actual pickleball. I know that like in women's, there's a 15-year-old girl that's like the best. She's like number one in the world. So it's like cool to watch her, but like just calling a spade. I think most people would rather probably watch Kevin Durant and Kyrie play pickleball against Curry and Klay Thompson or whatever.
Where do you see the future of sports business heading? How we consume information, the market and industry itself, and athletes as businessmen and businesswomen and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And like front office sports, boardroom, these companies do a great job, and they've done a nice job of integrating people into it. And they do fantastic work. Now, one thing I try to do that they don't do is being an individual. I have like a real personal brand and touch behind it. And then also that's where it leads into like the storytelling and the athletes. And I'm less concerned about like news and more concerned about like telling stories, kind of like you said, of like, yeah, Spotify, like I'm just using a random example. Spotify, like they're going to announce Spotify new deal with FC Barcelona. And there's a whole audience that needs that. But there's also a whole audience, which I try to adhere to, that wants to like, okay, yeah, they signed that. But like, what is the business behind signing deals with like companies, and how do athletes benefit from that? How much money do they get from that? So like taking stories and then like really expanding. And I get people that ask me all the time, like, where do you find all this stuff? Well, yeah, that's my differentiator. I have people, I have just resources and things I can do to basically get, call it inside information or whatever, to put out stories that no one else really has or would have a hard time figuring out how to do. And like, I don't know, you look at any of the other ones, ESPN, Front Office, Bleacher Report, they're great, but like, where are the athletes in the mix for a lot of them, right? So I think we're going to start to see more just like people, like they want to listen, they want to read, they want to hear from the athletes, and not just people that like think they know the athletes. So I think we're going to see a little of that. But right, we'll see the market and everything will kind of play itself out over time.
Draymond talking about the new media when he's his podcast, I'm sure, is one of the top podcasts. And people want to listen to it straight from kind of the source, right? So I think more athletes, and not athletes waiting until they retire, but it's a balance though, because they don't want to get distracted by it. There's probably a lot of Warriors fans that, when they lost game 3 and the Celtics were up 2-1 in the finals, and Draymond's like, you're going to get that. He's like, you're going to get the podcast. There's probably some Warriors fans who are like, I just wish he would focus a little bit more on playing. And he played pretty horribly in game 3, I think. So yeah. It's a balance, but I do agree that, current athletes, while they're playing, not just when they retire, are going to get into it.
Yeah. Like, for example, Ben Roethlisberger, Steelers fan, he just launched like a podcast. That's great. But like, I don't really have an interest, because it's like, I feel like I know everything. I've seen everything. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a clip on TikTok that I see and it's like, oh, that's an interesting story. But it's like, we want to hear those stories while they're happening. And so Draymond's doing that. I think we're going to see more of that.
Definitely. And kind of in that vein, what's your reaction or response to when critics tell athletes to stay in their lane, stick to sports, and some even go as far to say, shut up and dribble?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just ignorance, or they're trying to hide something or push a deeper meaning. Now, I do think athletes, they shouldn't just like follow narratives. Like, just like some of them have gotten in trouble before financially because someone just seems trustworthy and they give them their money and it's gone. So I think they need to like look into stuff and do research. And it's like funny, like people give Kyrie Irving a lot of crap for his stuff, but it's like he probably did research, and now some of it might be outlandish, but it's like, at least he's like looking into stuff he's promoting. But yeah, I think to build a platform too, like they need to be smart, but I think athletes also should, like, you should share what you believe, and you shouldn't always use it for like to jump on a trend either. Like, you should actually like be like passionate about things, and then it will come off. And it's actually kind of funny, like some of these athletes, I was just talking, I won't say his name, but he's made over $200 million in the NBA, and I was talking with his business partner, and he's never made one investment in his entire career. And it's just kind of like, just like some of these athletes are like, they're finally starting to get it, but it's like some of them get it too late. So I think now, as we get into the younger generation, guys like Draymond and KD are going to tell the younger ones, start this podcast when you're 25. Try to like build a media company when you're 28, not when you're like nearing the end of your career. So
I think one athlete that also does a really good job is Naomi Osaka. Obviously, she's, from a partnership side, she's one of the highest, I think she was the highest earning athlete, major deals with Sweet Green and I think Bose and other companies, but I think she just launched her own agency. That's a great example. Like Lamar Jackson, he just filed a trademark to do Lamar Jackson Entertainment. He's super tight with Kodak, and I'm sure other entertainers as well. So I think getting started early is huge. So
yeah, no, 100. Naomi was good. And one thing I just want to add to that is I do think the agency model is going to be disrupted over the next 10 to 20 years. I think a lot of it is just very transactional, and like these agents per se, a lot of them do a great job and they're really good, but like, are they really like helping athlete? Like, as soon as the athlete's done with their career, it's like, all right, see ya, they're on their own. I think we're going to see more of these models where it's like Naomi, like she has her business partner and her agent that she trusts. So she's going to use, because she's young, right? She's still young in her career. And this guy's going to, I forget the gentleman's name, but he's going to really help her throughout. And it's not just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see more of these like almost partnerships instead of agents. And they go just, that partner has, like LeBron and Maverick Carter, like they've been together, they don't need any more clients. Like, it's just LeBron and Maverick, let's figure it out. Now, that doesn't work for every athlete, right? Those are for the bigger ones. But, what's to say those bigger ones, like LeBron, doesn't just become his own bigger agency and he helps guys when they're done. Whereas these current ones, they kind of just like, as soon as you're done, boop, see ya.
Andrew, I really appreciate you taking the time. I learned a lot today. Does anything else you'd like to add? The floor is yours. Any shout outs or where people can find you and follow along on the journey?
For sure. Yeah, I always just say, hit me up on like Twitter, DMs at Andrew Petcash. It's a great place. I have basically everything attached there. I'll connect and talk to basically anyone. I really enjoy it. I try to learn something new from everyone. And there's just a lot of cool people doing a lot of cool things. So always, feel free to reach out. I always say it in my newsletter, and, I'm happy when, people do, and we finally get to talk. I met a guy today that he reads my newsletter and he's from Africa. And it's just like really cool. So I open that up to anyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Everyone should definitely reach out if they're interested in learning more. We appreciate your approachability and your time with us today, Andrew.
Thanks, Brendan. It's been awesome.